ThunderCats!
Thunder! Thunder! Thunder!
Hey, how are you? I'm Larry Kenny, the voice of Lion-O, here today for my good friends Ryan and David. You may know if you listen to the podcast Radical Retro Rewind.
I love it. All of it.
Radical Retro Rewind.
She even looks older.
Likes my art collection?
Yeah, we've heard that one before, Mummy.
What is it? I heard him shout.
Oh yeah, ThunderCats! Ho!
Who you calling a hoe?
Welcome back, Bunglers, to another episode of ThunderCats Reviews, brought to you by the Radical Retro Rewind podcast. As always, I am your host, Radical Ryan Hunter, here with Brother David. And guess what? Continuing off our last episode, we wanted more of Metesh, and Metesh is back for this bonus episode. Hello, dear Metesh.
Hello, Ryan. Hello, David. How are you doing?
Good.
So if you didn't listen to last week's episode, and I hope you did, of course, we're recording this on Metesh's birthday, and we could not be happier because we want to celebrate him. He is the bungler. He is the king of the bunglers. Without him, there would be no bungler name. So we thank him. We thank him. We owe our whole career really to Metesh at this point.
And Mumm-Ra, obviously. He's made it work for us, hasn't it?
You know, Metesh, I'm going to miss Mumm-Ra. I really am. That's why I don't even want to... I never want ThunderCats to end. I never want it to end.
That's right. We've got Raw. He gets ridiculous in Raw.
Oh, I can't wait for David to see this. Metesh had a few things prepared for us, and because we had a jam-packed episode, we thought it would be great to extend, like we said, Metesh, and do a little bonus. So we're going to leave this in the masterful hands of our dear Metesh, because he's brought some really great things for us.
Take it away.
Okie dokie. Okay, so the Thunderpups, that's obviously Aanya and Rohan, Mistry, my kids, have got a few questions for Ryan and David here. I think these first two questions are inspired by the 2018 She-Ra. They really wanted to know, because in our home, we talk about everything. There's no no-go areas. And the 2018 really inspired them. And they wanted to ask both of you about representation, because they always look at, representing themselves as, British Asians. Can they see themselves on TV and so forth? So they want to know how important for both of you is representation of gay characters in children's cartoons today for children. Do you think it's important, and should it be done? Start heavy.
Wow. First off, they are so intelligent, by the way. I mean, for years, our bunglers might have heard the questions that they came up with. And let me tell you, they come up with amazing questions, my goodness. And I think it's, of course, thanks to their amazing parents. And oh my God, She-Ra, that's like the perfect example.
I think it's extremely important. Growing up, there wasn't a lot of representation. For example, so most of our bunglers know that I have 4 adopted children, right? One of the things that we did was we bought some books, and it talked about how there were different types of families. So sometimes there's families that have 2 dads. Sometimes there's families with 2 moms. Sometimes you live with an aunt or an uncle or a grandmother, or you might have one parent that may be black, one parent that might be white. You might have parents that have different religions or beliefs. So as far as representation, I think it's extremely important that people feel accepted. I think really that's what it comes down to. It's amazing to see other people that look like you, that are comfortable in their own skin. I think that's what it comes down to. I don't think, not to get too deep, but I think some people feel uncomfortable or think that there's like a narrative being pushed, like you have to be a certain way. I don't think it's about that. It can be put in very simple terms. You may come across somebody that's different than you. As a kid growing up, if I had known that there were other gay people around or knew that it was okay just to be myself, that would have really opened a lot more possibilities and made me not as much of a timid kid or not felt so isolated. and maybe would have changed a lot for me, because it took me a very long time. I went through a lot, and a lot of bullying and a lot of other issues that I had to deal with that really extended into my adulthood. So as far as representation, I think it's very important. I think things like She-Ra or any cartoon, I think it's so simple. I think children don't even question it. It's like children learn to hate, or they learn to not accept things because of what adults put on them. So I think if it's just represented, this is just the way it is. Some people are different. Some people have different beliefs. Some people look different, but we're all humans. Like, I believe in the human race. I think that's race is a construct. I think we're all human beings. I do believe, like, we all, when we get cut, we all bleed red.
Some of us are mummies, though, and we might bleed,
yes,
we might bleed blue. We might bleed blue.
But I think it makes a big difference.
I wish my God, I wish I could say something as very nicely as that. But first off, I love the question. It's nice when like the She-Ra series, really, it was part of the plot, as opposed to thinking, like, as a kid, oh, is Tiger gay? Like, because he seemed like the more, gay character. So it's to have an official thing is really nice.
Yeah, I loved it with the new She-Ra when Bo had two dads. Like, I was like
really...
like doing a little cheering, like happy dance. Like, my legs were like, yay! It was like really exciting to me.
And a good story is if you have a good story that goes along with it, I think it transcends.
Yeah, I think more my children, believe that the She-Ra normalized it for them, and they didn't see any difference from that show or another show, and then it took another child to point it out for them to notice a difference, and they go, oh, that's a shame, I didn't see any difference, this should be just normal. And they wanted to know your opinions because there's a dad who reviews cartoon, and there's a family expert of cartoons in Ryan, so I thought they wanted your opinion about that.
That's so sweet. That was first off so sweet that they even asked. It just shows how wonderful, again, Metesh is as a parent.
No, thank you very much. Yeah. So the rest are all Thundercat questions. We started all heavy there. So they wanted to know, if you could live on Third Earth, where would you live and with whom?
I don't think you need to ask me that question, Ryan. Why don't you answer that first?
I think I might have alluded to this in the past.
The Burble Village.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yes, but yes, it is. Metesh, I'm going to the Burble Village. I want to be friends with Burble Bill. I want to have that snuggie that he had in the middle of the night when they were looking for Kudai with the Thunder Kittens or whatever. I honestly, I think living with the Burbles would be really nice. I think, honestly, if you think about it, maybe the Warrior Maidens, but you know what? What about for our Metesh, Tuscania?
Oh, I'd definitely go there. Yeah, I love the Tuscans.
Honestly, though, I think the Burbles, because I think not only will you be fed, but you'll be surrounded by such lovely people,
so
or bots, robots, or whatever they are, bears.
This isn't Build-A-Bear, though.
No, Build-A-Bear. But I think Burble Village. David?
This is going to be a hard one for me. I'm going to tell you why. Because if we're going with the premise that it's the way it is, and I'm just another warrior.
Oh, he's a warrior in this, by the way.
Lion-O's not really going to want me, let's be honest, right? He's not.
He will in Metesh's story.
Well... I mean, it's going to be hard to choose between living with Bengali or
the tower, the cat's lair. Pick a place.
I'm probably going to have to say cat's lair, because I feel like the Tower of Omens really does not have much defenses, and I really don't want to end up being shot out constantly.
Oh my God. So he's going with the Lord of the ThunderCats.
I'm going with the Lord of the ThunderCats.
But Metesh, you would go to I always say it wrong. Tuscania?
We'd live with the Tuscans, yes. That'd be lovely.
Well, it is a beautiful land, and I like
rainbows,
they want to conserve their water too, and there's no living ooze or anything in their water, which is nice. It's actually clean.
And I'd introduced Termagar to Snowman, obviously, so they can buddy up.
Yes. Great question.
Right. So the next question is, if you could select a character, a villain or hero, and change the path of what happened to them in the 1985 series, which character would you pick and what path would you change? Now, I've got like 3 answers. This was a hard question Anya asked me, right?
Anya's great with these, so she's really asking the hard question.
No, I'll give you, can I give you my answers, right? Yeah.
Please.
Because I was stuck between Tigra, who I think, has not been given a lot of justice, right? And he's the forgotten hero, because he was he was a holy trinity, those 3 heroes we first met, Panthro,
1000%.
Chitara, Tigra, he was the intelligent architect. And they just made him an addicted guy on, different substances and stuff. And it's terrible what they did to him.
Multiple substances.
It's terrible what they did to him, And obviously we all know about Mumm-Ra, who the more I hear and more I see her, the more empathy. Even though I sent you that comic to show her betrayal, I'm still feeling for that girl because she was such a warrior in Ho the movie. She was, such a driving force of rescuing everyone. And we all know how we feel about Jaga. And oh, good lord. Jaga. What happened with
Judgmental Jaga and his holes.
Yeah, he was meant to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi character. And what happened, He was Jelly Jaga, Judgmental Jaga. He was all the J Jagas, And then he was Manslaughter Jaga, unfortunately. And, I had to retrieve it, save him in my what if, and, to change the story, return to Thundera, because they did him wrong. They did him wrong, Ryan.
This is okay. All of them are 100%. I mean, right off the bat, I was thinking Tiger or Mumm-Ra 100%. If I had to do a third, it would be Mumm-Ra, just because I would love him to be redeemed and just that goofy Mumm-Ra, the one we saw with Mummy overboard, my cloak. Like, that's the Mumm-Ra I want. I want jokey Mumm-Ra.
You want joke? He's the spirit of all.
I know, but
embodying all evil.
Give me a few weeks with him. I could ship him into shape. And
you can change him. Okay, yes. You're every woman that makes the wrong decision.
I'll change him with my love. I'll say, Mumm-Ra, no, you can't do this.
No,
but honestly, Mumm-Ra, I would have loved to her, just like Metesh said, live up to the warrior that we saw in Ho the movie. If I had to pick, though, Tiger, he really kind of had, a weak ending, a really weak ending.
I'm going to agree with everything that Metesh said as far as Mumm-Ra.
That was easy.
And as far as Tiger, they, for lack of a better term, they did him dirty. They diminished him. They made him to be very reckless.
The fact that he went through the meteor shower and then just disappeared and turned into a shrub, a bush, really, for the rest of the episode.
One arc that I would change, I would have loved to have seen Claudius come back with Lion-O, because I don't understand why he had to become Yoda spirit,
Anakin,
Anakin when he could have just come back. That was one thing that I thought was kind of silly, that Lion-O had to see his father basically perish again.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen Claudius come back. That would have changed
That would have been great.
And then maybe Jaga wouldn't be so judgmental.
Or he would have been, because he was alive and Jaga's dead still.
And maybe he wouldn't have left Jagana alone, pregnant, working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with the gyroscope.
Oh my God.
Underground.
Pregnant, oh my goodness.
I still believe that's what happened. You can't change my mind. Fight me on it.
Well, there you go, Metesh.
Here we go. So here's the next question that Anya posed, and she actually had an answer to this one, which I'll share with you after. Is who do you think should be the next Lord of the Thundercats when Lion-O, say if this story continued and Lion-O had to retire, he was past Claudius's age and he just had to retire. She actually had a whole story about this. She's done what her dad does and come up with a what if, right?
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, I want to hear what Anya came up with, but...
Who are you thinking, though? Who are you thinking? Are you thinking of someone?
I honestly really think Chitara, because... Okay, granted, okay, she got a little more dramatic as the series went on, as we know, with her sixth sense. But she always usually comes off as level-headed. She has that kind, motherly instinct when she needs it.
She is the pride.
She is the pride of her people, of course, as we know. But honestly, I mean, she's a fearsome fighter. I remember when they threw her out with a stick outside. I remember that. David's like, oh, they just took a stick off the thing and gave it to her to defend Cat's Lair. But I think Chitara, honestly, I would like to see that. If it was because of age, I would have loved to have seen it, what Wily Kit and Wily Cat maybe grew up to be. But if it was now what we were given, I would say Chitara, honestly.
Yeah.
David?
Honestly, I think it would be between Chitara and Bengali, because Bengali is very much like Lionel was when he was younger and probably could be molded, but Chitara is kind of the full package. She'd be like kind of the top tier, and then if she was like, I'm not going to do this, I'm retired now. I'm going to just sit and play with my gold.
Yeah, I hope she does.
And hope Wizra comes through the mirror, and I don't have time for this. Then I would say Bengali, because he's young enough to be molded. If it was because of the natural progression of things, I'm going to say that more Thunderian refugees came and Lionel met somebody and actually had a child, a daughter. And she became the
Claudina.
And she became and she became the heir and the new lord of the Thundercats.
Wow.
Well, boy or girl, but I kind of like the arc of possibly having a female lord of the Thundercats, because I think it's kind of cool to be able to do that. Or maybe there could have been something where he had more than one child, and they could have been like, they both would have went through the trial of to see who was a
maybe
better
2011
could have been a better match for be the lord of the Thundercats.
What David said is very similar to what Anya said, and what Ryan said is very similar to what Raksha said, my wife. Raksha said, she goes, Chitara, of course, because she's sexy. And I says, excuse me, honey, you know, Chitara is confident, courageous, and an amazing warrior, you know. She knows what she's doing, so she would make a great leader. But David hit on very similar to what Anya said, but Anya was really fixated with these pods, the time capsules and all this. That drove her wild when I kept describing them and showing her again in Exodus. And she goes, okay, fine, if that's a thing, right, what if one just fell out of the sky, since Thundera just happened to come together, right, and that had a child in it, a child from the royal family of Thundera, right? Wow. And she goes, it doesn't matter what gender it is, it just arrives, and then that child gets trained with all the Thundercats and Lionel and becomes the new lord or lordess of the Thundercats.
I like that.
I just love just to like pat Metesh on the back a little, because I think he deserves his flowers. I love that he shares this with his children, but also giving them the details, like, you know, the planet reform. Yeah, it's funny. It's like crazy that this happened, but yeah, this is a thing, you know, and the space pod. I love that.
Well, it allows for imagination too, and I commend any parent that allows their child to use their imagination and question things and make fun of things, because it is funny. It is funny, magically the planet reform. I guess it's a magical world and it's a cartoon to begin with, but it even defies some. You're like, really, a whole planet?
Frogman?
Chagara, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week since the beginning of time. She's been working. Does she even use the bathroom in that time?
Exactly. Yeah, you can't take this seriously. Okay, we got our next one here. The children both said really wanted to meet Lionel's mum. What kind of character does Ryan and David think she would have been? They think she would have been redheaded and definitely a warrior. Looking at Claudius, he seemed more like a diplomat rather than a warrior. So they think the mum must have been the backbone in that sense.
Oh my God, I love this question again. Really, really great question. You know, and again, I don't want to keep invoking He-Man and She-Ra, but Queen Marlena, I love that Adam and Adora's mother is someone who had a past, that whole history that she was an astronaut. Like I picture someone very intelligent, kind, but also, yes, I feel like she would have a warrior spirit. And I think we do see Metesh in the 2011. I think we might get a glimpse of her, like in that series, what she might look like.
I would think she'd almost have to be the warrior, because I think Claudius does come off as the diplomat and very kind of calm and stoic, unless that's because he's older.
Yeah, so maybe.
But even when they show him scenes like with Jaga, it's almost like Jaga was more of the warrior, and Claudius was just more of the kind of
the side hoe. Literally in our last episode, how he just hoed.
He was the side hoe. But at the same time, I'd almost want her to be more like a Serena from Sailor Moon, like very like beautiful and like flowing gowns, but also when she needs to go for it, then she'll go for it.
Did they mention, Metesh, what her name might be or anything? Like, I just love their ideas and thinking.
They didn't have an idea about the name. They just wanted to know what kind of personality she would have, because it would have changed his personality if he had a mom figure around, you know. He didn't really have a mother figure, you know. All the other Thundercats had to take the role. And all he had was Jaga, really, who used to pop in and out. And that's the next question, actually, Anya had. Why does Jaga keep appearing and giving Lionel advice about this, that, and the other? Why couldn't his parents' ghost turn up and give him a bit of advice here and there? I guess that would have been, really nice, especially if his ghost of his mom came. They would have loved that.
That would have been great. That's a great question.
I think we kind of have the answer though.
Although it's still so confused. I'm honestly so confused if he was dead or alive.
We have Claudius who was trapped, right? We have Claudius that's trapped, so he couldn't come.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I feel like Jaga kind of like would push her out of the way, because I feel like we've kind of discussed this. And let me ask you, Metesh, what you think about this. Do you feel that the Sword of Omens is really Jaga? Like he is the one controlling the Sword of Omens. Like he's the one who's when it's flying around, it's actually Jaga, because we discussed this I think with Zach before. It would make sense because it does seem to have a mind of its own, but it also doesn't always react to things, which would make sense because Jaga's not always around.
But
sometimes he's at the club.
Sometimes he's with the Nether Witch too. He's in the Netherworld with the Nether Witch.
So, I don't know. So it would be nice if he was able to see his mom, but his father, I can kind of say, because the father was trapped.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the only thing. But it would have been really wonderful, especially seeing that episode Return to Thundera in the first season, where they did have that meeting and he didn't know if that was his son or not. He just said, "You remind me of."
I'm gonna use the charm thing that they said when Prue died. It's too soon. You can't see Prue, not because we won't let Shannon Doherty be on the show anymore because Alyssa Milano hates her. She can't be on the. It's too soon to see Prue. You wouldn't be able to reconstitute the power of 3 if you saw her.
I'm not allowed to tell you now, just like you're not allowed to see her, at least not for a while anyway.
Why?
Because seeing Prue right now, speaking to her, keeps her alive for you, which keeps you from being able to move on with your life, to continue your destiny.
In show, I think it's exactly what you said, Metesh. It was because he was supposed to be Obi-Wan Kenobi originally.
Yeah.
And be that guide. I don't know what happened midway through. He got really he just got sassier and more judgmental. But yes, that would have been amazing. I wish we could have.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree with David. The sword has got, especially season 4, such a mind of its own. It's doing so much work for ThunderCats. And I think Rohan said, who is Omens? Like, so do we meet? Is there a priestess? Is there a club? Ooh. Is there a gang? Because in 2011 series, Jaga and obviously Chitara are priest and head priest and priesty, so, and they're warriors as well as spiritual warriors. So there must have been an Omens, and is that Omens in the sword?
I think it's so genius that they're asking these questions. Omens, yeah. Is there an Omens? Yeah. Is there a warrior named Omens? Because it's the Sword of Omens. Yeah, that's actually really genius.
And the last question is something I know you guys are going to be able to answer, right? It's about hair products. So they wanted to know, what products do you think the Thundercats use? Because, Anya said, how is Lionel's hair just up all the time? Why does Wily Cat have sideburns which turn into a beard? And why is it always sticking out? Why is Tiger's hair always, in that same mold and so forth? Where are they getting these products? Which tablet or where are they getting this from? Where's the Burble ointment coming from, really?
Besides Metesh's miracle body oil, that's very popular on Third Earth. I think
that's very popular. Beef tallow.
Oh my god, that is so funny. It's so true.
It's what you don't see behind closed doors. They self-groom.
You think it's actually maybe a Snarf's tongue? Oh God, this is really good. This is really. But maybe he does groom them, and maybe the saliva is. Oh, I don't know if this is going really crazy, but maybe Snarf's saliva is very sticky and hardening. You get perfectly.
I don't know.
Groomed.
Maybe, I think there's got to be some kind of natural, like aloe product or something that they use that works. Maybe they get it from the Warrior Maidens. They seem to have their hair in check.
Yes.
I've never seen Willa's hair. That braid never seems to have one hair out of place.
No, really, honestly, if you had to think of who would, I'd like a Wolo. I would like a Wolo to do something, actually, or a Tabit, like you mentioned. Oh, what about Wolo whipping cream?
Love the way you say Wolo.
The Wolo. What about our Wolo, what the heck was his name? Our Wolo Traveler? Could he be going door to door with...
Maybe it's like a castor oil sort of a thing.
Oh, boy.
You know, stuff survives. Pizza survived. Mexican food survived. Apples survived. So maybe there's some kind of like soap. Soap apparently survived.
No, it's an ancient formula.
I'm going to say that there's some kind of a balm that they must use.
A salve.
I'm just wondering what the texture of their hair is. Is it coarse? Is it fine?
Ooh, we know that Snarfs leave
Maybe
like
it's like a
red
paste.
patchy
It's
hair,
a paste.
right?
It's a paste. Yeah, during shedding season, that's got to be tough.
Ooh.
Oh, that's an interesting point because Anya was also asking, are they fuzzy all over? Are they just skin stretched? And I said, do you not remember Exodus when they were naked? I said Tigra did have fuzziness all over with his tiger stripes and so forth, but no one else.
Yes, he did. Right? He really did. Jaga, and I love that Jaga was the only one. He's like, I will have clothes. I am dignified.
The rest of you are naked.
No, Claudius and Jaga, and the guards we saw had clothes. So yeah, so clothes were a thing. Maybe they didn't have time, David. They didn't have time to dress.
No, that was the last question. No, thank you very much for answering those Anya and Rohan questions.
I hope we answered them satisfactorily.
Thank Anya and Rohan for coming up with those questions. That's not all Metesh brought with him. He has more joy in his bag of tricks over here. So, Metesh, what is your next item for us?
Right. So, you mentioned the WildStorm stories of ThunderCats quite a few times, right? And
yes.
I've got all of these, and I've been reading them since I think 2010. I think they all started coming out. One of the chapters was ThunderCats Origins, Heroes and Villains, and there was part 2 was Villains and Heroes, or the other way around, right? So there was 2 of them, and one of the chapters was about Mumm-Ra and his origin of Mumm-Ra.
I shudder to show you this, Hachiman.
And now this author is the same author who did that controversial The Return, which you've mentioned before, when basically the story continues from the end of the last episode of 85, as it were, and he comes out of the Book of Omens, and lots of time has passed, and they've been imprisoned, and the Thunder Kittens are in an awful position, as Mumm-Ra's, we won't say, but in a really awful position. Panthro's all beaten up, and Chitara's enslaved. This is the same author, a person called Gilmore, but they also wrote the very 80s Reclaiming Thundera, which looked very much like the cartoon, the bright colors and so forth, and that was a lot more fun. And they wrote this story. Now, this story, I'll go through the story very briefly. So it starts with an ugly embalmer. It's a really ugly embalmer mummifying a corpse of sort of like a Wizra-looking pharaoh, right? Right. And it would be amazing if they made it Wizra, but they didn't. And this mummified figure turns out to be a child, right? And I thought they were going to go in the dark places again, right? And they almost did. It turns out that the head pharaoh lost 4 children, and this embalmer was sorting them out and doing the embalming. His name is ridiculous, right? I'm going to spell his name, who turns out, spoilers, to be Mumm-Ra, right? I'm going to spell it, and then I'm going to say it out loud because it sounds like a swear word we use in the UK. So, and it's spelled like this, Wahankh. Now, what does that sound like to you? Wahankh.
Okay.
Right? And that's what they called him, right?
Oh, Mumm-Ra.
Yeah.
Mumm-Ra.
Exactly. That was his name. He was Wahankh. So we see this character sitting on a chair, and he's got a very realistic looking mama on his lap, right? So they brought that into it. Remember when we did Ho the movie? Sorry, I feel like we did Ho the movie. When you did Ho the movie
together. We did do it together.
And you said, some people have portraits of their pets, and and he basically made the portrait come to life. Well, he's got this dog. It was in this particular story. It was called Matep, Matep, TEP. And then he's basically sitting there bitching about the Pharaoh, right? Just saying horrible things about the Pharaoh and plans to take over the kingdom. He has 4 little stones or little pebbles with the same sort of symbols representing the 4 statues of the ancient spirits of evil with him. And he uses them to cast a spell to summon the evil spirits. He puts them in a small little pond, as it were, and a whole purple goo comes out, like the pink goo we've seen before. And the spirits come out of there, 4 different forms come out, and he begs them for power to take over the kingdom and, rule over the Pharaoh. And they say, why should we give it? They were reluctant. They didn't want to give up any power to him until he uses the word, my eternal soul. So they were really interested in that deal. They want to own his soul from that point. There's no date on this, by the way. There's no, realistic terminology here or burritos or anything to bring it into timescale with Egyptian timeline or any of that business. And then so he takes that power and he goes over to the Pharaoh and he has that battle with him. And there's a lot of special effects in the comic book, as you can imagine, right?
Yes.
He loses. He's basically the pants-wearing form of Mumm-Ra, the Dust-Ra, as I've called him in the past, without his coat. Without
good
his
old Dust-Ra.
Yeah, it's all dusty. So he loses, and the Pharaoh's very pleased with himself for beating him. And instead of, torturing him or executing him, they throw him in the pyramid we know him to live in. Thank God they don't throw the puppy in there. That would just broken my heart.
Oh, that's great. Okay, great. Good.
Thank the Lord, right? They don't do that. That would have really upset me. But they do throw the red cloak in there and go, let this keep you warm in there while you stew for 600 years. They closed him off. And he goes, maybe we'll think about freeing you then. What a bad deal. I mean, this is what the ancient spirits said. They'll think about it in 600 years. I mean, that's a terrible deal. I mean,
petty. Those ancient. We always say the ancient spirits of evil are petty.
And I'm so glad the death of the royal children wasn't related to this. It got so dark initially by this author, and more glad that the dog wasn't involved. To be honest with you, that would have broken my heart. Like I said,
I agree too. My goodness, Mom.
That's his origin by this particular author. Obviously, we can all write our own.
But you know what? It makes sense because Mumm-Ra is a very jealous character.
I really love that. I mean, that would explain, obviously, the Egyptian aspect to him. Because we had talked about him being a shogun.
It was with Hachiman.
And I remember the context, but we've always talked about origin stories, how we never really
and Mitesh that's so smart because I think we've questioned this since early on.
And yes, Mitesh, because again, my theory that we're in second Earth right now, and third Earth is when the ThunderCats appear.
Yeah.
We're in second Earth. I won't meet Lion-O.
There might be a pod. You know what? David might fall from a pod somewhere.
Watch out for pods. Rainfall of pods, yes.
I love that. The story, I love, and the red cloak is. So at some point, Mom passes away. Or maybe it was just the portrait, and maybe he was able to bring him back through the portrait, which we saw in the cartoon.
Yeah. I'll try and send you this because it's got Groon's origin, his friendship origin, Chitara. It's got a story for everyone in there, Even the Doomgaze, how she got into the Doomgaze. I know you'd find I thought you'd find that interesting,
Were her alligator men there, Mitesh?
I think they were, maybe.
Chitara is not mentioning that was her ex-boyfriend, Groon.
Groon?
Mm-hmm. She ain't mentioning that.
Oh,
she was young.
Oh, he was a drifter.
She liked the snaggletooth.
She liked his muffle. Oh, Chitara.
She thought she could change him too, Ryan.
Oh, I could change Mumm-Ra, maybe.
That's a lie, and you know it.
Bunglers out there, let's do a poll. Who can change Mumm-Ra? No, I love this. That
was awesome.
So now, correct me if I'm wrong, our dear Metesh, but you also have a few stories for us?
Oh, okay, yeah. So I do. I will share one story with you, right? After my wife tried to edit this one, right? I won't. Okay, so this is a real story of how I fell in love with a dog that looked like Mama and didn't realize. why I loved him so much until my son pointed him out. So I won't use the dog's real name to protect the innocent here, right? So we'll call her Jojo, right?
Okay. Jojo.
So we'll call her Jojo. Oh, her real name was Coco, so we'll just keep that between us, though. So, as you know, we take Bella out to local parks, fields, all sorts of places. She loves a good run around and a play as much as she loves a good nap, which I'm sure David knows. You've got a pug, haven't you, David? Mm-hmm. What's your pug's name? I always wanted to ask you.
Olive. I have Olive, I have Tracy, and I have Ambrosius.
Wow.
I have 3 dogs.
That's amazing. Do you dress them up?
Sometimes. The kids, I have to like be careful because they'll have them.
Yes,
they'll have them in everything, and I'm like, and it's like Barrow's getting a little old now. I'm like, you have to be careful. And so he is a Jack Russell Chihuahua mix, and Olive is actually a pug Yorkie mix. So she can grow really long hair, and she kind of looks like an Ewok.
Yes,
from
she
the Return of the
does.
Jedi.
She does look like
so
an
when I shave her down, she looks just like a pug. But when I let her hair grow, she looks just like, I don't know which the Ewok, the main Ewok from Return of the Jedi. Is that his name? Wicked. He looks just. I'll send you a picture.
Honestly, I've been trying. I want Olive to be dressed up as an Ewok. Maybe next Halloween. We could do that.
I just saw a picture of a couple of pugs dressed up in Victorian gear. It was unbelievable.
Oh my god!
It was unbelievable.
That would be so cute. But so Jojo.
Yes, so Jojo, I went to a park, our local park, and as Belle runs off, and obviously I'm following ahead. My son Rohan and my wife Raksha are in the park as well, but they're at the other end because I just when Belle runs, I run. A bit of cardio for me, for this old holder as well. So I turn around at one point and I see this British bulldog, and real stocky, just like Mama. You're plodding along all the way towards me, and I don't know if you've seen these dogs, right? But they've got a permanent big grin on their faces, right?
Yes.
A beautiful, beautiful grin, and I just it was one of the slow motion moments where you're both running towards each other, and I just fell in love with her smile straight away, and I just stopped. She kept coming towards me in her top slow speed, as she can go, right? Yeah, exactly.
I can totally picture it.
And then she sort of stops at my feet and rolls over on her back, exposing her tummy and wanting a tummy tickle. So I go for it and I go give her lots of tummy tickles. Belle is not a jealous dog at all, right? If Raksha picks up a baby or any other puppy, she will not like it when mommy's with another puppy, but she doesn't mind daddy. I can get away with it. I can show affection. I'm fine. So I'm showing this dog affection. And my son and my wife catch up, and Rohan says, "Mommy, what's wrong?" And she goes, "Oh, nothing. It's fine, And then he goes, "But Daddy's just, being friendly." And Raksha goes, "What's the dog's name?" And he goes, "Oh, it's Coco." He goes, "Oh, let him be with Coco then if he doesn't want to walk with us, right?" And she walks off, and Rohan, right? He sees what's happening here, right? Instantly, right? I'm really oblivious, and Rohan goes, "Mommy, were you just jealous of Daddy with Coco?" And she goes, "Yeah." And then he comes to me and he goes, "Mommy was jealous." And I go, "Well, you know what, Rowie? It takes a hoe to know a hoe, So that's just what happened. And she. So got quite, it ended beautifully. Me and Coco just ran off playing, and Raksha will know the story once she hears the podcast.
Oh no! I'm sure. By the way, thank you so much for sharing your husband with us all these years. Very appreciated. Very appreciated.
She does say I spend more time writing some of the reviews than I do planning my lessons at school. But I do all my planning in the summer holidays, so then I can spend the
So he plays. Then you go. You have more time to meet dogs like Coco.
To meet dogs like Coco and write beautiful reviews and stories for my retro brothers, of course.
Beautiful what ifs.
Yes. When we started the podcast, obviously Rohan was 9. He's 14 now, so Anya was 11. Anya's 16 now, so they know what a hoe is. So the word hoe gets used around this house quite a lot in multiple contexts. Mom's pretty oblivious to it until the ThunderCats episodes comes on the show. And then, but just to let you know, they may have a dog and call it a hoe one day. It's possible because,
this is the name to go with, hoe.
You know, the funny thing is, when we have... When we're going to have our special guest on the board, I always keep saying to Ryan, God, I hope they're not listening to this episode or this episode.
Dennis Woodyard and Peter Lawrence.
Because I'm like, I hope Peter's not listening to the last episode when I basically said that I had sexual encounters with their characters.
Good Lord.
Because there's that one episode when we talked about what if we were on Third Earth. I'm like, yeah, basically I insinuated that I had interspecies relations with all the ThunderCats, and I'm like,
we said
I hope
earlier
that's not the one that they chose to listen to.
Oh my god! You're like, out of this whole list of episodes, oh my goodness, I hope not.
I was trying to find out a fact about why they called it ThunderCats Ho the movie. So just to end this with a fact here. So I thought, why did they call it Ho? We hear Lionel go Thundercats Ho, and we just took it from there. But when I hear the Raw and in other sources, they tried to get that, you get the swashbuckling adventure, and they go Tally-O and all those kind of adventurous symbol. They wanted to give it that sort of oomph and that push in the title, rather than, it wasn't just taken from Lionel's Raw. It was or summoning, they wanted to act. That's why they used that. That's where it came from, apparently, according to the Raw.
See, I love. There you go. Another factoids for the bunglers out there, brought to you by our dear Metesh. Also, ThunderCats Ho the movie will forever now be associated with Metesh, his story, and Christmas or Ramistide.
Which I still don't say.
You don't say it right. What about me?
I call it Rammstein, which I think was a German band. From the 90s, right?
And then there's Father Ramus. I was calling it Father Ramus, so Zach was like Harold Ramis from the Ghostbusters. Ramus died.
Listen to our guttural English. It's okay.
Oh my God. So we have to thank Metesh, his beautiful family. By the way, bunglers, we got to see the famous Belle before recording started. So we got to see the beautiful girl herself, and she lived up to her beautiful name for sure. So that was a treat. Another treat, just as we're entering our final episodes of ThunderCats 85, to see Metesh, on this computer screen in front of us, and to have this was just a special treat for sure.
Yes, but one day we're making it to the UK.
Oh my God, yes.
Fantastic. Well, you're welcome to stay here anytime.
You'll hear a knock at the door. It's me, hoes. It's me. It's the hoe. It's finally a hoe. A hoe from America. Thank you so much, Metesh. Thank you for joining us on those amazing double episodes we did as well. Mamut's Confusion and the Shadow Master. For bunglers who didn't listen to those episodes, please go back and hear Metesh in his full-on glory.
It was, this has been such a special treat. And like you said, as we're counting down, I'm actually, like I said, it's bittersweet. We're really excited that we're able to share these episodes with such special people. Like everything, like when we were able to do the Christmas special with Zach, we were able to have the episode Leah with Leah that we were able
that was amazing.
That we were able to do the episode with Sean with Captain Cracker. One of his all-time favorite characters. It's such a special thing for us to be able to do, and I can't think of a better way to spend the time than with our extended ThunderCats family from all over the world, which is really exciting.
And again, one of our earliest and biggest supporters, Metesh. So again, you have to thank this man right here for keeping us going, literally. I mean, when there was no one commenting, I remember it was Craig was our first commenter. And then it's been Metesh ever since. He took up the mantle. He found us and he has just championed us. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for inspiring us, and thank you for all the hard work you do and all the kindness you show all the bunglers and all your guests as well. And wish you all the success with ThunderCats and beyond. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
And this won't be the end because we're going to have Metesh back. We're going to definitely ask him to come back for the future. Anything, the 2011 if he wants to, Roar, maybe Radical. Maybe we'll have him on our main show, Radical Retro, because we heard he might be listening to that too. So
yes, I am thinking, yeah.
The future is bright.
No, thank you very much.
All right, so until next time, we have to do the sound of or call of our people, as I say, and I'm calling David a hoe once again.
I'm gonna hide under my Lion-O.
Oh, his sexy Lion-O blanket. That yes, Bunglers, you're
with nipples.
Oh my God. Yes, there is nipples. I don't know if they showed up clear.
David, did that come with the lunchbox you had in the Christmas special?
No.
It should have, though, right? Yeah, it should have just come out of the lunchbox.
Yeah. It should have.
Yeah.
No. No, this came separate, a separate accessory. So, Thundercats. Ho!
Am I still the hoe?
No, you're not the hoe, David. I'll be the hoe.
I am.
You're dubbing Metesh.
I'm dubbing you.
Oh my God!
Wait a minute.
He's knighting Metesh.
Where's my Lion-O? I'm going to. I'm officially hoeing you up. I'm going to knight you for this special
Sir Metesh of the hose.
Yes, I'm going to hoe you up for this episode.
My goodness! And with that, ho.
Oh.
Ho.